Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taya and this is Taya's Turning Pages. So by the title of today's video, you can tell that this is going to be another reading vlog. It is currently like 10 o'clock right now, so that's why I look kind of crazy and why the lighting is a little bit off, so just bear with me. But yeah, I am filming another reading vlog and I'm actually really excited about it. I'm having a blast, honestly, filming these and doing these because you guys get my reaction in real time. So I actually decided that I was going to film this reading vlog pretty spontaneously, and I am participating in Books and Lala's Buzzword Reading Challenge, and I feel like I say that in every video, but like, it's the truth. So I am participating in that, and I'm actually on my second book slash the second prompt. So the prompt for February is reading a book that has a pronoun in it, so me, we, you know, those type of words. And I actually chose this book right here, and it is a thriller, and it is called Never Saw Me Coming by Vera Kurian, and I'm actually 20 chapters in already, so that's why I said this is pretty spontaneous and like impromptu. I should have started this vlog way back, but I didn't think I was going to do a reading vlog for it, but I just have to talk about this book because I am enjoying this so much, you guys. Okay, sorry, so location change. So I just wanted to come on here and like share my thoughts about this book because it is actually really, really good. I haven't seen too many people talk about this on BookTube. I feel like the only booktuber I've seen talk about it was Chapters and Converse. I decided to pick it up when I went to Barnes & Noble about like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but this is a story about a young girl. Hold on, let me hold this up. This does follow a young woman named Chloe who attends college, and Chloe is actually diagnosed as a psychopath. Like, that is literally what she is, and she attends this college on like a free ride, and she is only able to attend this college on a free ride because she is participating, like voluntarily participating in this clinical trial slash study where there are psychologists who pretty much study psychopaths, and they study, you know, their behavior and really try to prove that they can function in society with everybody else and that they shouldn't be looked at as criminals. So Chloe is a part of the study, like I mentioned, and you really follow her on this journey of like her trying to mimic certain behaviors that other people that aren't diagnosed as psychopaths, you know, have. So she tries to really mimic empathy and sympathy and, you know, just other like just normal human emotions. It's really interesting to read her point of view because, again, Chloe lacks a lot of these things, so seeing her trying to mimic it is really interesting. But anyways, you follow Chloe as well as a few other students who are in this clinical trial, and so the chapters are like alternating between different perspectives, and I'm not sure how many perspectives this is going to follow because there are a few characters that are like jumping in here like new at all points. So once I get to the end, I will figure out how many POVs, but for right now, the book is focusing on Chloe as well as 2 other participants in the clinical trial and 2 of the psychologists who run the study. I mentioned that this book follows 2 POVs from 2 of the participants that are in the study, so besides Chloe, and one of their names is Andre and the other guy's name is Charles. So Andre is actually, I think, one of the only Black participants in the study, so I found his character, of course, very fascinating right away. And honestly, Andre is one of those characters where I'm just like kind of like worried for him because he's going through something that could actually like destroy him and his reputation. So I'm like really invested and interested to see where his storyline is going to go and see how him and Chloe and the other participant Charles, who I'll get into in a minute, are all going to intertwine and how it's all going to come together in the end. But yeah, really interested in Andre and seeing more from him. And then moving on to Charles, he is the other participant in this study, and Charles is actually very fascinating because him and Chloe actually have like a direct like type of like connection to each other, so you follow them like, you know, kind of like in each other's POVs and also separately. But yeah, I am actually really interested in pretty much all of the characters for the most part, but Charles is actually very interesting, and I can't give too much away because this will be a spoiler, but just know that his character is actually really interesting, and I feel like his storyline adds something really different to the story. So yeah, all of that to say, I can't wait to read more about these characters and again see how all of their storylines are going to intertwine. I wanted to give you guys background on that, but anyways, going back to my main point, Chloe is in this study and she actually has an ulterior motive for wanting to be in this study, and I'm not going to give it away because it is a spoiler, but she does have an ulterior motive for why she actually even decided to participate and, you know, go to college and things like that. and you follow her on this journey of her trying to enact some type of revenge plot against somebody, and the story pretty much derails from there because one of the participants in this study actually ends up getting murdered, and Chloe and the other participants start to realize that they may be targeted, and now they're gonna have to watch their backs and figure out who is trying to target them and, you know, get them before they get got, essentially. So yeah, I know that sounded pretty convoluted, but that really is like what the plot is, and I am so like in love with it already. Like, it is actually really, really good. I really like the whole medical and like psychological aspect of it. I used to be a psych major myself, so this stuff still fascinates me to this day, and I love learning new things about this and like, you know, what it all entails, and again, how Chloe and the rest of the participants are so different from each other but also very similar in certain regards. So yes, I'm currently on chapter 20 right now, and I don't know how long this reading vlog is going to be because this is a thriller, so I don't want to spoil anything, but I will just say that I'm really enjoying it so far. It is very addictive. I'm like turning the pages very quickly, and the chapters are very short, so if you are into thrillers that have short chapters, you will definitely like this one. And I wouldn't say that the psychological or like medical portion of this is overwhelming. I think anybody can access this pretty well. I don't think that there is any like crazy scientific jargon or anything like that. It really is just providing context to Chloe and the other characters and why they are the way that they are. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this so far, and I will check back in with you guys when I have more to say. Hey guys, so it's actually Monday. I think it's like February 7th or something like that. I don't know, but it is 5 o'clock, and I'm actually reading some more of Never Saw Me Coming, and y'all, I am obsessed with this. I feel like this is going to be a 5-star. I am calling it now. I always say that, but like I genuinely feel like this is going to be 5 stars. I have never been more interested and fascinated with a character than Chloe, to be honest. She has so many layers and so much like depth and so many complexities about her that like she's just so fascinating, and I can't like stop reading about her and like how she's going to carry out this plan of revenge. My heart is actually like pumping reading some of these chapters because she's like in this kind of cat and mouse game since, you know, there is a killer on the loose. So yeah, I just really enjoyed this one, and I really hope that this book starts to make a little bit more buzz in the like book sphere because this is really good, and I don't know why not that many people are talking about this because yeah, it's just really good. To say that this book is like playing out like a movie, like it reminds me of No Exit when you're reading it and it just feels like you can envision this like on the big screen or something. It's exactly how this book feels, so I'm loving it even more. I think that is so cool when authors have like such an engaging and immersive writing style to the point where it literally feels like you're watching a TV show or a movie playing out while reading. I just think that's so cool. And I also wanted to quickly say that there is kind of like a potential romance situation going on in here between Chloe and someone else, and I am here for it. I'm here for it. I know a lot of people don't really like when romances kind of like overshadow or play a part in thrillers because it's like you're here for the mystery, you're here for the killing and all that stuff, but y'all know I'm a romance stan, so I don't really care and I don't mind. Now obviously if it does overtake the plot, then I do understand the frustration, but I feel like this one's pretty subtle. And again, just like how I said about everything else in the story, I can't wait to see how this plays out. So I just had to quickly come on here and say that it is a thriller, so I'm not going to drag out this vlog for too long because I don't want to give away any spoilers or anything along those lines, but I wanted to quickly pop in here and just like kind of word dump and word vomit certain things that I'm noticing throughout the book and certain things that I'm really enjoying.
Like I'm stuck, but she's time giving it up. She wanna get married tonight, but I can't take a knee because I'm wearing all white. Me and my bros get twins, but we don't look alike. I don't take naps. Me and the money are way too attached to go and do that.
Hey guys, so it's actually 6:49 and now I am halfway through this book, and I think this is going to be it in terms of like my major thoughts. Now the next clip is probably just going to be me giving my final thoughts and closing out the video, but since I'm at the halfway point, I just don't feel the need to keep this going like I mentioned earlier. But yeah, I just had a few things that I wanted to say because there have been like major developments and I am still living for this book. If you hear any noise in the background, that's just the heat turning on. So yeah, so I have a few things to say, but one of the things that I wanted to mention is that there is like a decent amount of social commentary in here. Vera Kurian doesn't really hold back and kind of lets you know like the issues that surround campus safety and how that or lack thereof really impacts female college students in particular. So there's like just a lot of talks in here about, you know, not feeling safe walking around campus alone at night, or like, you know, leaving from a bar, leaving from a party at night, making sure that you always have a buddy system, making sure that you don't wear certain clothes, or making sure that you don't get too drunk, etc. So there's like a lot of different like little things that were mentioned in here that really spoke to, again, lack of campus safety and how that impacts female students. And I just thought that was really interesting, and I'm really glad that she included it because it is a reality. And I thought that there was just a lot of interesting thoughts and talking points that Chloe in particular had and what other characters were saying. There is a killer on the loose, so a lot of people of course are becoming a little bit more vigilant, also, you know, just having their senses heightened because they don't want to be next. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting how she kind of incorporated that in there. Like Vera Kurian also does a really good job at capturing like the essence and like the spirit, I guess if you want to call it that, of like traditional American colleges. So I actually attended Penn State. That's my alma mater. Those are the type of schools I'm talking about. Like I said, those very like, you know, sports heavy schools, and just like, you know, the tailgating culture, frat culture, etc. She really does a good job to me at like capturing that in here. I feel like I'm actually like back on Penn State's campus reading this book because she just has a really good way with like descriptions and just really talking about the college experience. So I really like that aspect about the book because I enjoyed my time in college. I had a blast. I miss college, and I'm not that far removed from it, but like I'm no longer in school. So reading this and getting all of those feels, it just was, you know, it's fun. I like it. So yeah, this book definitely hit the nail on the head, I feel like, for that aspect. The other thing that I wanted to say is that there is something in here that another character says to Chloe, and it just really stuck out to me because you could tell that it really got to her. I don't think that this is going to be a spoiler because it is a vague statement, but I'll put spoiler up here just in case it is, because there might be that one person that's like, this is a spoiler. So I'm letting you know right now, spoiler alert, even though I don't think it is. But I wanted to quickly read what this character said, and I won't say the name of the character at the very least, but right here it says, "I wouldn't have a picture of my kids in my office if I worked with psychopaths," X pointed out. In the dim lighting, Chloe's pupils were huge, like the eyes of a cat. She didn't understand how other people might see her, how they might see straight through her, as if looking at a picture of X's kids or just asking a question about them would ever be entirely innocent. I just thought that was really interesting, and like I said, stuck out to me because you can tell that Chloe has this air of arrogance about her. She's really good at manipulating people because she is deemed a psychopath, so she is really good at manipulating people, and she is really good at just getting her way a lot of the times. And so you can tell that she is like really cocky and like really thinks that, like, you know, she's unstoppable and she can pretty much do whatever she wants because she is, you know, smarter than most people, and she is studying to be a doctor, so she is very intelligent, like highly intelligent, and she will like let you know that. And so you can tell that through her manipulation tactics, she like takes pride in that and knowing that she basically got over on somebody or fooled somebody. But this character's comment made her, I feel like, stop and think for a minute. People, like this character said, might see straight through her. They might already understand who they're dealing with and the type of tactics they might use, so they know to not do certain things around this person and to therefore not get manipulated or, you know, tricked or whatever the case is. This is heartbreaking too because the whole point of this panel and the whole reason why Chloe and these students that are deemed as psychopaths are participating in this panel is for the like psychologists and the researchers in charge to show that these students that are psychopaths deserve the chance to mingle and, you know, be around other people in society, that they are functioning adults and they can go through life without causing harm to themselves or other people. In that last part of the sentence, it talked about innocence, and it's just really sad to know that, you know, no matter what, there's always going to be people that do think this way, no matter the evidence, no matter the science, no matter if, you know, these people are able to actually function with other people in society. It just doesn't matter, because there is such a stigma around psychopathy that some people just don't want to hear it, and they automatically think that people that are diagnosed as psychopaths are evil and scary and all of this other stuff, and that they can't possibly be trustworthy or innocent. And it's just really, really sad. And I know we're not supposed to be rooting for Chloe. She is a morally great character, but I still feel like that needs to be talked about, and we really need to destigmatize a lot of things when it comes to mental health and mental disorders, like genuinely, because regardless of Chloe's motives and regardless of, you know, how she's acting right now, I feel like it's still a sad reality. Like, multiple things can be right at once, and there is a stigma around certain mental health issues, specifically psychopathy. So again, just really liked Vera Kurian's social commentary added in here about that. This is a really good book, and I really do like Vera Kurian's writing style. Hey guys, so it's actually Wednesday, February 9th, 3:21 in the afternoon. I'm actually working right now, but I'm taking a little bit of a break so that way I can wrap up this vlog. And I actually finished Never Saw Me Coming last night, and I really, really enjoyed this one, you guys. This is actually really, really good. So I finished this very quickly. I only had, I think, like 100 and something pages left, and I flew through them. This was like the ultimate like psychological thriller. If you're genuinely a fan of psychological thrillers, I feel like you can't get any more psychological than this one, since this of course does focus on psychopaths and psychology and psychopathy, etc. Of course I have my notes because I have a lot to say. I just wanted to start off by going off of my earlier point and by reiterating the fact that I really enjoyed the social commentary that was woven throughout the story. Vera Kurian incorporated a lot of topics that had to talk about campus safety and lack thereof, but also rape culture, and just how rape culture is also perpetuated on college campuses, and how we as a society just need to do better. Besides that, she obviously also touched on the stigma that surrounds mental illnesses, but specifically psychopathy. Really appreciated all of those discussions that she proposed in here, and I think that they were necessary and they were important, and I think whatever she was trying to set out to do with that was executed well, in my opinion. Now, some of the writing was a little bit cringy, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Some of it I kind of winced at a bit. I felt like there were times where the book was trying to be too many things at once, and I felt like we just kept constantly getting bogged down by certain topics and certain issues when it came to the social commentary. Just because I feel like the writing could be a little bit cringe doesn't mean that it took away from the importance and the necessity of that social commentary. I just felt like there were times where the book was just trying to be too many different things at once, and we were following two intense storylines, so I just felt like, I don't know, it was becoming a bit much at certain points. But other than that, I really enjoyed the story for what it was, and I'm definitely going to be thinking about this story for a long time. So getting into my actual like thoughts about the characters, so I mentioned earlier, I'm actually gonna set you guys down, and this angle is a little bit but we're just gonna roll with it. So getting into the actual characters, I told you guys that there were so many different POVs that you're following in here, and towards the end I figured out that we were honestly just following so many different people, so I don't even know exactly how many, but the main characters that you are going to focus on are Chloe, Charles, and Andre. They are the main characters in this story, and you are following their POVs. So starting with Chloe, like I mentioned before, she's a true morally great character, but I really enjoyed her storyline. I really did, guys. I know that we're not supposed to be rooting for her, but the reason why she decides to enact her plan of revenge on one of the other characters in the story makes total sense, and because of that, I was rooting for her from start to finish. I was like, get that person, girl, get that person. For that, I'm sorry, I had to root for her. I had no choice but to stand. Did Chloe do and say things that were not not good? Yes, but I mean, at the end of the day, she was diagnosed as a psychopath, and Chloe owns that, and she stands in her truth, and for that, I appreciate her character, and she was fun to read about. The one thing that I will say about her storyline is that when you're following Chloe on this plan of revenge, very like prevalent in the first part of the book, I feel like you really get to focus on her trying to carefully, you know, craft and curate this elaborate plan of revenge. But once we finally get to the actual like crescendo, I felt like it wasn't as grandeur as it was supposed to be made out to be, in my opinion. Now, I still enjoyed what this character got coming to them, of course, but I just would have liked it if it was a bit more thought out. I felt like it just was super rushed, But I wonder if that was the point, that a lot of the times people that are diagnosed as psychopaths do have a tendency to be very impulsive, and Chloe was very impulsive. So I wonder if that was supposed to be in line with like the actual symptoms of the illness, and if that's the case, well then ignore everything I just said. But if that wasn't the case, I would have liked the actual like crescendo to be something a bit more grandeur, and it just wasn't. But that still didn't take away the fact that I enjoyed the story and that I really enjoyed Chloe's character. Moving on to Andre, I just wanted to say that I actually really enjoyed Andre's character. There were some things about him that I didn't necessarily like, and I was also kind of confused by, but in the end I actually really enjoyed his perspective and his storyline, and I felt like the way that him and Chloe and Charles all intertwined worked really well. I think Vera Kurian actually executed that very well, and Andre was just very likable to me. I don't really have too much else to say because a lot of the story I feel like is focused on Chloe and the other character Charles that I would get into next, but I really liked Andre's character nonetheless. And then moving on to Charles. So Charles was actually the most compelling character and the one character that I was genuinely interested in. Like, his storyline was so fascinating. Like, I know I keep talking about Chloe and I'm a Chloe stan, but I actually really enjoyed Charles's POV and how he moved through the world as a psychopath, essentially. Chloe was very impulsive, and she had her moments where her temper would flare up, and you would be able to tell through certain discussions and certain dialogue and certain, you know, actions that she was a psychopath. But when it came to Charles, you really couldn't tell. I felt like, I think Vera Kurian's writing style was so immersive and so engaging and so captivating, especially when it came to Charles, because he was described as a very charming man, almost like Ted Bundy. There were like references how he was like kind of similar to him in that regard, about how he was very charming and how he was able to just smile at people and they would like kind of do whatever for him. And that's how Charles's character was. And even when I was reading the story, Charles would say certain things and I would just instantly be like, wow, like, huh, like I felt like I was under his spell. And that's an amazing thing to do through writing. If you can evoke that type of emotion or that type of like really hypnotic like trance on a reader through your writing, then you're stamped, in my opinion. And I thought Vera Kurian did a phenomenal job with Charles's character in particular. I kept forgetting that he was a psychopath. He would say certain things, or there would be certain actions from him, and I would forget that he was a psychopath. And then I would be reminded because he said something that, you know, was very like jarring to what was actually going on, or something else would happen and I would just realize like, oh shit, like girl, he's a psychopath, like remember that, just remember that. And I found myself having to keep reminding myself. So I really enjoyed Charles's POV and his perspective. He was such a fascinating character, and I would have just really loved a little bit more about him and his upbringing, because he definitely had some family drama and family dynamics happening, and I would have just loved to see more of his background and his childhood. There was a lot of discussions in here about Charles in particular, because Charles, you could tell, like, worked and works really hard to mimic human behavior, or normal quote-unquote human behavior. And if he's in a serious situation and people are sad, he really tries to like emulate that sadness. Or if they're in a very frantic and panic like situation, he tries to mimic that too, but that might not be how he actually feels on the inside. He's just aware that, okay, other people are acting like this, I should do that too. So it was just really fascinating to, like I said, read about his perspective and how he moved through the world and how he presented himself to people. I really enjoyed his perspective, and I can't say that enough. I will just say that there is a bit of romance in here between two of the main characters, Charles and Chloe, and I enjoyed it. I was rooting for them, and it was kind of bizarre when I think about it, but like I actually was rooting for them. It was definitely giving the Joker and like Harley Quinn without the abuse. Like that's what it was giving, and I actually really enjoyed that part of the story. I was secretly hoping that they would get together, but I will just say that there are themes of cheating in here. So if you are not a fan of cheating in your books when it comes to romance, I just wanted to call that out because there are themes of cheating in this book. But yeah, I stand Chloe and Charles, and I was rooting for both of them individually and collectively. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this cast of characters, phenomenal. I have never like seen anything like this before. Like, I know some people on Goodreads are saying that Chloe was very insufferable and very unlikable. Charles was also unlikable. I liked all of them. I liked all of them. even if they are meant to be unlikable, I don't care. I liked all of them, and like I knew what I was getting into when I picked up this book. It is a story about people diagnosed as psychopaths. Of course, Varian is trying to prove points, so I knew that they wouldn't be the most likable characters in this book, or people wouldn't like them necessarily, but I did, and they were interesting. Like, this was like a new genre when it comes to psychological thrillers, and this cast of characters, they ate, like they really did. I liked every single one, and I was gripped and hooked from page 1 all the way into the end. I could not put this book down. I was just like flying through the chapters. And then moving on to my final thoughts, I really enjoyed the killer reveal. I did not see that coming, and honestly all of the twists and turns in here I did not see coming. I was guessing all the way from the start of the book all the way to the end, and I really like when authors can do that too. I was second guessing myself. I was doubting myself so many times. I kept telling my boyfriend I think I know who the killer is, but at the same time I feel like I'm going to be proven wrong, and I definitely was proven wrong. But I really enjoyed the killer reveal. I like when authors don't make the obvious choice the actual killer, because I just feel like, I don't know, like it takes away from the fun and the magic and like the spice and the anxiety of it all. I don't know, like the boyfriend did it, duh, we know. The husband did it, well yeah, you know, it's just like duh, that's been done before, but like, can you give us something new? Can you give us something else? And I just felt like Varian gave us something different, something else, something for the girls, something for the summertime,
something fun, something for the summertime, something for the girls to, you know, get ready and party.
So I just really enjoyed it. So yeah guys, those are all of my thoughts on Never Saw Me Coming by Varian. Like I mentioned, this book was really phenomenal. I actually really enjoyed it. I think I am going to give this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I haven't officially rated it yet on Storygraph or my Bookstagram, but I will be doing that in the coming days, and by the time this video goes up, you guys will already see it. If you follow me on Bookstagram, I will already have this post up. I will definitely be looking out for Varian more and seeing if she comes out with anything else, because I thought this was well done. And for her to be an actual scientist and to have experience with, you know, patients that have psychopathic tendencies, I just thought that this was such an interesting and refreshing take on a true psychological thriller. Just reading this on the outside in, I didn't feel like weird or icky reading this when it came to the representation of these psychopaths. I don't think that Varian poked fun at them or anything like that. I just felt like this book had so many different layers to it, and it showed that people that do have psychopathic tendencies or are diagnosed as psychopaths are not a monolith. Like, there are people that have this illness and they're still able to function in society with the rest of us, you know. So I really like that she wrote this book. I like that it was creative. This doesn't have the best reviews on Goodreads, but honestly I enjoyed it, and I think that this is going to make it into my favorites of the year because this kept me hooked. The writing style was immersive and very engaging. It was very funny at times and relatable in terms of the college aspect and the college culture. I could relate to all of that. So yeah, I really didn't see any glaring or major problems with this book. For me, it worked really well for me, and being someone that's really in tune and interested in psychological thrillers, this scratched the itch that I have when it comes to finding a really good psychological thriller. I haven't read a really good one since, I want to say, Rock Paper Scissors. So I really enjoyed this book for what it was. These are all of my thoughts on Never Saw Me Coming by Varian. This is the second book that I have read for Kayla's Buzzwordathon challenge, and I'm really happy that I was able to complete this. So next month I will be filming another reading vlog where I read Tokyo Ever After, so stay tuned if you're interested in learning more about my thoughts in real time on that book. I'm really excited to read that one because it is like a Princess Diaries retelling, so I can't wait because that's one of my favorite movies of all time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me and my channel out. And make sure you follow me on Bookstagram as well as Storygraph. I will leave all of that information linked down below as well as at the end of the video. And lastly, let me know if you guys have read this book or if you plan on reading it, and let me know your thoughts. I would love to know. All right, well, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.